All right, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, whenever you are ready.
Okay. Hello all, my name is Justin Habana, Master's Student in Energy Systems.
I'm Rudy. I'm a freshman majoring in electrical engineering.
We also have a third member who couldn't make it, Reina, a sophomore in Systems Engineering. We are a student chapter of the Illinois-based nonprofit Inspire. This was mentioned already, but just to recap, the Lake Nona Town Center is located in Orlando City, Orange County, Florida. They are a future-oriented 5G smart city region with retail, office, and residential spaces. They have adapted smart building technology and plan on installing EV charging stations. Their vision is to create a healthy, sustainable, and vibrant environment that adapts to new technology trends. Now for the site assessment. Aside from the various buildings, both existing and under construction, included in the district is a plot of land marked as green, and this area does not have any near future development plans on it. Also, there are 3 retention ponds to the west of the town center as shown in the upper right image. The town center buildings are in green and the 3 ponds are in blue. Lastly, there is a sizable lake in the southwest direction of the town center, shown here also in blue. We looked at all of these and started ruling out sites based on a few things. One is the amount of shading. Second is the shape of and number of obstructions on the site. And of course, cost and ease of development. Finally, we selected the following sites and designed our corresponding systems as illustrated on the image on the right. Office Building 1, Office Building 2, each will host a rooftop PV system. The Pixon Apartments, they will have a rooftop PV system and a carport garage on the Pixon garage that's next to the building. We assume that both systems will be connected to the same meter. Then there is Garage G up here on the upper left, a large central vertical parking garage with a carport PV system. Next is the ground-mounted PV system right here on that empty plot of land mentioned earlier. It is near the Wave Hotel and will feed into the hotel, thus we call it the Wave Solar Farm. Then there's the HQ Solar Collection, which includes floating solar PV systems that will go into greater detail in a future slide. As for our components, it's very simple. We simply just selected the Aurora Solar sample panels and string inverters. We assume that these will be accurate enough to reflect the real components in the real world. The batteries, on the other hand, they simply match the standard systems used in the NREL cost benchmarks, which also helps make our cost analysis more accurate. The actual specific components we'll use will depend on our partner manufacturers and whoever can provide us with the best value. In regards to the panel layout for all rooftop systems, we made sure there was at least 6 feet of offset between the edge and obstructions, edge of the roof and obstructions. There's also sufficient pathways for maintenance of all panels in the system. We did not block any existing pathways, and these are all illustrated fairly well in the images of the rooftop PV system on Office Building 2. We also used a small column spacing of 4 inches to accommodate the expansion and contraction of the panels as temperature changes. The tilt angle was based on an online calculator that was simple enough to make. And all these spacings and tilt angles are the same for all systems unless otherwise stated. As for the carport PV system, they are at a height of around 16 feet to accommodate all vehicles. The panel layout and location of pillars are designed to minimize inconvenience to the drivers. As for the ground-mounted PV system, unlike the other systems, these panels have a single axis tracking mount. And the spacings are also larger to ensure easy cleaning, construction, and repairs. Now, another thing is the inverters are all located along the west and southwest edge of the system along a dirt or gravel road that will be made for ease of construction and ease of access. Next, for the floating PV arrays, it consists of 31 identical subsystems of 15 by 13 panels as shown in the image in the top right. These subsystems are assembled on the shore then combined together by tugboats. These arrays are at least 40 meters from the shore to account for the changing water levels and to allow boats to navigate throughout the entire perimeter of the system. Now for the highlights. The first one is the HQ Solar Collection. It is a collection of 2 rooftop, 1 carport, and 2 floating solar arrays. The floating PV is located on 2 of the 3 retention ponds west of the district, all feeding into the HQ buildings. These buildings include the HQ garage on the left, as well as buildings B and C on the bottom right. Also included in this design are what we call the solar arches. They are roughly shown on the image on the left, so right here. It's probably hard to see, but they go over the roadway that leads into and out of the top level of the garage. Racing cars as they drive right under them. Next is the carport system on top of garage G. It is a highly visible location at the center of the district. People can see the anti-glare coated panels from the ground and from surrounding buildings. So they act as a symbol of the district's sustainability efforts. Aside from the garage, the panels also feed into the district chiller plants to further reduce grid export. And they complement the EV charging stations that the district is planning to install. Our last highlight is the Wave Solar Farm. This system feeds into the Wave Hotel and will help significantly boost their reputation. These panels are also easily visible from the top of the Wave garage, and the hotel can treat it as an attraction with tours, presentation signs, etc. If they so desire, the Wave Hotel can request that the panels be arranged in the shape of a wave to match the overall theme as shown on the shape of their building. However, this is not shown in our drawings. In regards to the battery storage, the district is interested in load shifting and peak shaving, as well as outage ride-through for the HQ building specifically. Battery storage also helps ensure grid stability. Due to all this, we have included a battery ESS for all systems. They are designed for peak shaving and to maximize blended savings in energy toolbase, except for the HQ ESS, which was designed for resilience using Rheont. It was designed to maintain 50% of the building's load for 2 hours after an outage at the point of highest consumption during the year. Next, we did a grid hosting capacity analysis using the provided heat maps of the district's distribution system. We found that the expected PV penetration of all systems is well below the hosting capacity of the nodes they are connected to. In total, the grid substation, this top yellow point up here, can withstand up to around 3,990 kilowatts, 4,200 kilovolt amps. And the sum of the assumed average PV penetration to the grid for all systems will be around 862.69 kilowatts. The actual penetration fluctuates, of course, but since it's well below the maximum, we assume it will never reach that point.
Thank you, Justin. So while developing our project plan, we had a number of development considerations. So near our PV sites, we noticed that there are no conflicting land uses. The topography is leveled or not relevant. There are no adjacent residential property. There's negligible risk of shading from trees or other forms of vegetation. If you look at the bottom right photo, we see the orange cube is Lake Nona, and the critical habitats are highlighted in red. So we notice that there are no critical habitats near Lake Nona. There are no historical or cultural places near Lake Nona. The soil conditions were marginally suitable. And finally, if we look at the top right graphic, we saw that on our site, vegetation was also negligible. We also need to consider that the floating PV site needs a distribution line to the off-taker interconnection point. Next slide, please. In terms of the energy equity considerations, although there were no disadvantaged communities within the tract of the Lake Nona tract, we did notice that there was a disadvantaged community within a 20-minute drive of Lake Nona. In order to promote energy equity, we plan to implement energy justice programs and have qualified job training programs. Through the development of our project, we predict a generation of solar jobs, and for the solar benefits of solar plus storage to be available for all. We won't intrude on any disadvantaged communities by building our project. And finally, we plan to budget for the reconstruction costs in case that there were any natural disasters were to strike Lake Nona. Next slide.
Okay, thank you, Rudy. Now for the financials, the exciting stuff. We offer a lease financing option as well as a cash purchase option. We offer a simple, no hassle, fixed rate lease, 20-year term with no upfront payment, no end of term fee, and a buyout fee equal to all remaining payments. The lease rate is calculated to result in a zero net present value for us, the developer, after the end of the term. However, the systems themselves are still expected to last 10 years after the term, and we assume the customer will decide on ownership instead of renegotiating a new lease. Now for the cost per watt numbers. These include construction costs and developer margin, but excludes interconnection. Carport solar costs were taken from the Energy Sage website and cross-checked with other sources. As for the remaining systems, the cost numbers were from the NREL cost benchmark publications. We see that they are all usually below $2, except for the systems consisting mostly of solar carports, which are above $3. As for the batteries, from NREL, we use a cost of $610 per kilowatt hour. Now for the all-important customer savings analysis. First, this table shows the system sizes. Then it shows the lease price we calculated for each system. Notice that Garage G is more expensive than the Wave Hotel, the Wave Solar Farm, that is, despite being a lower capacity than the Wave Solar Farm. This is in large part because of the cost of carport solar. Next, let's look at the 30-year NPV without incentives. So this means that we're assuming the customer does not gain any tax credits or any other similar incentives when paying the lease. We see that these two systems, the Pixar Apartments carport plus rooftop and the Garage carport, these two systems actually result in a financial loss. However, we still believe that these systems are worth it. Looking first at the Pixar Apartments, the presence of solar, especially the visible carport PV system, will likely attract more renters who are willing to pay more to live there. The Garage G carport, on the other hand, is a central visible location in the town center. As stated before, they can act as a symbol of the district's dedication to sustainability, attracting more people who would like to work, live in, or just visit the district, promoting more economic growth over time. Moving on to the cash purchase, we also offer a cash purchase option for if they have the money to spare, which will likely result in a positive customer NPV for all systems at the end of the life of each system, as well as a payback period of at most 8 years for the carport PV systems. And to end our presentation, we would like to simply read a quote from our proposal. We believe the Lake Nona Town Center is uniquely capable of accommodating a large variety of solar PV plus battery systems to complement their future-centered, sustainable, and high-tech development goals. We strive to help meet the district's full solar potential by proposing a diverse set of PV systems on a variety of sites that touch the needs of all types of people, thus attracting more residents, workers, tourists, and even simple visitors. Thank you for listening.